But look, the 49ers have all they need, and I think they know this. Like, sure, Charvarius Ward, compromised,
Mooney.
Trent Williams, this, like Deebo Samuel, is he out? The 49ers, half their roster, and here we go, on paper, is so much better than the rest of this conference. And the more I look around at this, the more you watch the Bears play, the more you watch the Denver Broncos play, you sit here and go, my gosh, how did you end up here? How did you end up here, and when are you going to stop giving your fans that vibe on the way out of football games? You have everything you need. I don't care who's in. I don't care who's out. You have everything you need to beat this football team this weekend, and you have arrived at a time in the season where you can't just kind of, well, let's see how it goes. It's early, but it's not early anymore. It's not early anymore. The bye week is next week. It's the halfway point. It is time to go get what is clearly yours. Every metric, because when we go, they're 3-4. You found some of these yesterday.
Yeah.
Third down percentage. Look at their
the Rams are right with them, by the way.
Point differential.
The Rams are right with them in third down conversion. They're almost identical.
If you go deep into the metrics, you will find that the 49ers are not the same as the other 3 and 4 teams. They are not the same. So you got to stop being 3-4. You got to stop being 3-5.
Well, to stop being 3-4, you need to actually win a game. And I don't look at Kansas City because Kansas City's better than you. I look at Atlanta. And why did you lose to Atlanta? Well, Atlanta came out and they were more physical on both sides of the ball. Atlanta came in, and to use a baseball expression, they shoved. They absolutely shoved it on you, and you got dominated. So, okay, that's fine. That was the second game of a road trip. It is excusable. You had a lot of defensive players out. Fine. Trent Williams didn't play. Great. But why did you lose to Denver 11-10? Well, I thought it was like riding a bike, Jimmy Garoppolo. All of a sudden, we go from it's like riding a bike to, I didn't have training camp and I'm a little rusty. Wait, what? And why did you lose to the Bears? Well, it was a monsoon. Well, it was a monsoon on both sides of the football, guys. And Justin Fields didn't have any trouble in that monsoon. He made the big plays. You didn't. So what you're saying about on paper, the analytics, the numbers, all of the other things, they point toward the Niners winning this game. But why are they 3-4? That's what I can't get away from. Right, because they are underachieving, and overpromising and underdelivering is the worst thing, no matter who you're talking to, no matter what it is. We were talking about TaskRabbit earlier. If TaskRabbit comes over and you get your trampoline or your bed put together, but things start popping off a week later, you have overpromised and underdelivered, and everybody hates that. So when I go into this game this weekend, just as a fan, as an observer, the word that is popping around in my head is trust. And it's been a huge word in 2022 in Bay Area sports. Let's start with Draymond Green a couple of weeks ago. What is trust? Well, trust is the word that all your teammates are using. Draymond, that's what it is. And it's a very, very big word. It doesn't matter what you're doing in your life or who you're talking about. Try to undervalue trust. What a ridiculous press conference that was. Undervaluing the word trust. What is trust? Trust is everything. It is everything. So if your teammates don't trust you, you got nothing. Let's talk about trust around Bay Area sports. Do you trust Farhan Zaidi right now? Kinda. Okay. How many people listen to this Aaron Judge story and go, yeah, right. They don't trust him to land this fish. I believe it when I see it, because I don't trust that this group is actually going to spend my beer money and give me something back. And now let's go to the San Francisco 49ers. 4 draft picks for Christian McCaffrey. Oh, my gosh. The greatest Swiss Army knife on offense in football, combined with the best laminated play sheet that we've seen in the last decade. This is going to be the best thing ever. You can't stop it. I don't trust you unless you go show me that. This has to be a massive Christian McCaffrey game, because the 49ers have now given up next year's draft for a player. And that player needs to be the damn deal tomorrow, or else you're going to have people say, I don't trust
the way you're doing it. You got to stop telling me that this guy with these weapons is unstoppable, and then keep going out there and getting stopped.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, this is the week, especially if Debo doesn't play. Juwan Jennings may not play. Both will be listed as questionable. So if Debo doesn't play, then it becomes a Christian McCaffrey game, in my opinion. And we said this before in terms of Kyle Shanahan. You've got this player. Now, John Lynch traded a second, third, fourth, and a fifth next year to get him in. Well, this is the game. Going into a bye, this is the game where you want to play him 20 to 25 plays, get him that many touches, more than that many plays, obviously, but that many touches. And I heard Bonte and Joe talk about it this morning. I don't want to hear about them trying to bubble wrap him or ease him into it. You're going into a bye game, and if you don't have Debo Samuel, this is the game where you need to use Christian McCaffrey. And we already know that he went for a $160 against the Rams last time out.
He looked great.
As a Carolina Panther, for God's sake.
He looked great. I know none of you saw the game, and I've already told the story on air. I watched every single play because as things fell, it ended up being a 1 o'clock news break for me. Hey, if the Rams win this game, you win your survivor pool.
Did you win that?
I sure did, because the Rams beat the Carolina Panthers 24-10. So I sat down with the only moron in the Bay Area who's like, Rams Panthers, sign me up. Nice. Turn off the Red Zone channel. I just want to watch Rams Panthers. So I watched all of it. He looked great. He looked great against this defense 2 weeks ago. He looked great against this defense in this stadium, and he did it with P.J. Walker as the quarterback, and they wouldn't even let P.J. throw the ball more than about 3 yards downfield. You think Jimmy plays close to the line of scrimmage. You should have seen what P.J. Walker was doing that day with the Panthers, and McCaffrey was still able to get outside and make big plays. And you're right, go for combined yardage, receiving and rushing well over 100. He was fantastic. This guy is motivated. I love what he said yesterday. He's got a little chip on his shoulder about being traded. He is better than this defense, and he is also a walking offensive lineman in a way. You want to neutralize Aaron Donald? Get the ball out of your hands and get it into Christian McCaffrey's in space. To me, that is this key to this game. You win the game, you keep getting him the ball in space.
And you use him in a bunch of different ways. You use him in the backfield, in the slot, you spread him out wide, and you get him the ball, especially if Debo's not playing. You use Ayuk, you use George Kittle. I like their chances in terms of the health, too. I know the Rams are getting more healthy. Their O-line is still pretty shaky. They're getting other pieces back. Van Jefferson will play. The running back situation is still a real puzzle in terms of who the Rams would like to have and who the Rams actually do have. And you kind of, Christian McCaffrey blocked the Rams. You back blocked them by picking up McCaffrey, because I'm sure the Rams would have loved to have acquired him. He would have solved a lot of their problems. So I would expect a ton of Christian McCaffrey this weekend. Use him until you use him up. This is a game, it's not a must-win. It's not even a gotta-have-it game. But if you don't win this one and you go into the bye at 3-5, now you look at those last 9 games, and you need to win 6 of the final 9, in my opinion, to get to 9-8 to be a playoff team.
I'm pretty close to gotta have it. I'm pretty close. I hear what you're saying. You look around up and down the NFC, and I do think the Bucs are already 3-5, and I think the Packers are going to be 2. And so 3-5 does not mean you're out of this thing.
I told you the Bucs would be 3-5.
Right.
You were Team Tom.
You got that one. I said, one more time, Tom. One more time for old time's sake.
One time.
And he looked at that TV camera and he went, nope, done. I mean, my gosh.
And now news that the divorce is actually going down.
It's finalized already. I mean, I like you watched that game last night. When he needs to throw the ball more than 20 yards downfield, it literally looks like he's got to put his whole body into it. And I know 3 years ago, we said the same thing. Remember, Jimmy had just been to the Super Bowl. Tom wanted to come, and we were like, why would you do that? Jimmy's had a better year than Tom. He looks done. And then he goes and wins the Super Bowl again the very following year. So I get all that. But, man, now he really mentally and physically looks done. So you're right. It's not a must-win. But I'm pretty damn close to gotta have it. That sets up a second half that's just flat out hard. It's hard, and the ball will bounce a couple of ways. You're going to have to win almost all of your games.
6 of the 9. That's all.
And that's really good. I mean, these teams are so flawed that you're gonna lose 2 or 3 just because it's football and it's any given Sunday and all of that stuff.
Well, I think you've already lost those 2, and that's my take on where they were. And last year you were 3-5, and this year's team, on paper, and we love talking about on paper, this year's team is better on paper than last year's 3-5 team.
Right, and the rest of the conference is worse. But when we say, they were 3-5 and they made it last year, never forget they got the ball in the fourth quarter in Los Angeles, and they got the drive done.
They needed it.
But if they didn't, they don't go to the playoffs. It was that close to them not making the playoffs, and that's with them playing amazing football in the second half of the year. I don't want to put them on that journey again. Tomorrow is damn close to a gotta have it if you ask me.